sensitive topic because I'm from Ukraine and I'm working in environmental field since 2011, 12. I was an activist, I was a journalist, and even when I worked as a journalist, I was organizing also environmental actions, protests in my city. Originally, I'm from Poltava. And I love Ukrainian nature because it's so beautiful and so diverse. Really, we have mountains, we have steppes, we have big, beautiful rivers, forests. I know how many people. Are there any people who have been to Ukraine before? No, probably no. Okay, so
There are some Ukrainians here.
really? Okay,
Yes.
okay, great. So yeah, of course, you've been you've been to
And
Ukraine.
Murphy, for example, Murphy is in Kyiv right now, so she's
Really?
American.
Okay.
Yes. So, hello,
So
I'm in Kyiv.
hi, it's nice to see you. By the way, so you are very close to joining Ukrainian environmental movement, probably. But I will tell you more about this next time on our next lecture. How we're living, how we're working now. Yeah. So for me, this topic is very sensitive because I love Ukrainian nature. I was born in the village, in a very beautiful village in Ukrainian woodland, Polissa. And you know, from my childhood, I was thinking, oh, I will grow up and I will protect our forests, I will protect our nature, so everything will be beautiful, untouchable, and yeah, and and it will be saved. So when war had started, you know, there were many changes because before war, me personally and my organization, we were working on some topics like waste management issues, climate change in Ukraine, yes, and it's still very, very relevant. These topics are very relevant to our country, to our society, because we are joining European Union. We are on the way. Yes, we are on negotiation process now finally. So there are many work to do in environmental field, with environmental legislation, and many works are doing now already. But you know, it's somehow I would say that part of work is on the pause now because of the impact of war, because of many other priorities which arise with Russian aggression to Ukraine. So I think you know already about some context. Yes, we have a conflict, actually Russian aggression on Ukraine. It started in 2014 after Revolution of Dignity, and there was annexation of Crimea and annexation of part of Donbass and Luhansk region. It was very painful for us, and there was a lot of damages on environment that time as well. Especially we have many rare species and nature protection areas in Crimea and in the eastern part of Ukraine. But you know, it's a pity because there was almost no opportunity. Actually, there is still no opportunity to do something on this occupied territory. So this is just pain, which can be healed maybe only after end of war. And when we will get back our territories and we can work more on these issues. Yes, so there are actually many regions who are devastated by Russian aggression. It's not only Donetsk, Luhansk, Crimea, but also Zaporizhia, Kherson, Mykolaiv, Sumy, Chernihiv, Kharkiv region. Even my this region where I am living, Poltava region, it's also unfortunately somehow touched by aggression because you know when when you have constant missile attacks or drone attacks, all of these materials after explosions, all of these toxic materials, they are coming to our soils, to our waters. So even not on the territories which are like on the front line, you know, even partially peaceful territories are affected by war, unfortunately. So yeah, it's actually destruction of infrastructure, explosions of ammunition, fires. It's also makes some effect on environment. So we have increased concentration of different harmful substances in air. It's affected people's health quite a lot. Even Ukrainian Ministry of Health is talking about this quite a lot also, because there are much more allergies, much more problems with lungs. People are suffering with this. So it's not only, you know, when we have this effect on environment, we have also effect on, of course, people's health and people's lives. Like there were many explosions, fires at oil depots, for example, Lysychansk, Severodonetsk. Also, I'm living not far from Kremenchuk, and there was, I think it was last year, quite a big, or even in 2022, quite a big fire in the oil refinery in Kremenchuk. It was, you know, big, long, and it affected really like thousands of people. Unfortunately, you cannot do a lot when you have such a powerful fire just a few hundred meters near your home. So as you understand, many toxic parts are coming to air, and people should breathe it. Yeah, you can see very colorful pictures. I don't know, some of hundreds and hundreds fires and explosions in one of Ukrainian regions, and it's really it's bad. Even a few weeks ago, near a village where my parents are living, there is like old oil depot. I'm not sure even if it's used now, but there was a massive, some massive attack on this, and there was a big fire also. And it was like this, and it was scary, but it was also dangerous. And I know that many people, they was complying that they felt not good after this fire. So as I told, these impacts are very connected between themselves. So yeah, also there is impact on water pollution. So it's a destruction of water supply systems, chemical leaks directly to rivers and lakes. And for example, there was a mass pollution of Siversky Donets River with chemicals and including ammonia, other toxic compounds. And I remember it was really horrifying pictures, because it was led to mass fish deaths. And you know, it's always like rivers should be recovering after this for quite a long time. Also, there is a mass pollution of Azov Sea as well as the Black Sea, because there are a lot of mines, unfortunately. From time to time, they're exploding. Also, Russian military warships. And we know that a lot of dolphins were died in the Black Sea and in Azov Sea, and it's a really tragic situation for our environment, because those dolphins are in a red book. So it's really very sad. And also, I think you have heard about Kakhovska hydropower station destruction, which took place last year, actually year and 1 month ago. Today is like year and 1 month Have you heard about it?
We have several speakers who raise this topic as well.
Okay. Yeah, because of course it was a huge news. You know, you are waking up in the morning and then you read this news and something, I don't know, completely is changing in your mind that it can happen, you know, in 21st century. Because also some of my relatives, they are living in that and friends in Kherson and in Kherson region, and many people were affected by this horrible tragedy and horrible crime, actually, but also environment. I will show you a few photos about this tragedy, and yeah, you can see, because there was also it's one of the famous photo, you know, from that time, this dog which he was saved during this Kakhovska tragedy, and you know he's trying he's trying to catch any human to be protected and saved. It's really very emotional when I even remembering it now. Also, these photos you see, this is it's part of Kherson, and people were saved, but also their animals, like even domestic animals, not only dogs, cats, you know, pigs, chickens, goats, all of these animals, they were affected with this mass flood, and it was not possible, unfortunately, to save all the animals. There was mass deaths, and it's hard even to count damages after this situation. So what else? Of course, it's soil and forest destruction and damages. For example, it's not only caused by missile and artillery attack fire, yes, but also and this is the truth, there is some deforestation for military needs, because even our armies, they need to use forests to protect themselves, to build a special military construction. But also Russian armies, they use this forests, you know, and there are all of the forests are mined, and there are many unexploded missiles, and in agricultural lands, you will see later also on some photos. It's actually for decades. We talked with our colleagues from other organizations, from Ukrainian Climate Network, from Environment People Law, that this pollution is really for decades, and it will need billions and billions dollars, euros, hryvnias to work with all of these problems, with all of this contamination, and it will need also a lot of experts, a lot of local activists and local governments to be involved in this process. Yeah, as I told, there were many forests almost unexisting. For example, in Donetsk, Luhansk, also Kharkiv region. I will show you, maybe you have heard this name, Serebrensky Lis forest. We call it in Ukrainian Serebrensky Lis. Serebrensky forest, it was a very beautiful forest before Russian aggression, but now you can see it on my background, how it looks now. It's like a hell, you know. And our militaries, our people were trying to protect it, to protect this territory, but unfortunately, it's really now just dead forest, and we do not know how many years will be needed for its recovery. Yeah, I wanted to show you. Yes, so for example, this, you know, as I told you, unexploded missiles, it's also a problem. We also, I remember when was in 2022, climate conference, UN climate conference, COP was in Egypt. I think it was COP 26 or 27. Yeah, 27. It was in Egypt. And one of these photos was also in Ukrainian pavilions because, you know, it's just daily life. As I told you, some missiles, they are hitting not only frontline territories, yes, but I don't know, they can hit any village or city or whatever, or agriculture field in any region. So sometimes it's not possible to find the place. Sometimes it's possible, but there is no resources to take it away. So you can see such photos as this, like gods should walk around this missile, and this is just daily war, daily life of country in war. Yeah, and thanks God that it's not exploded, and hopefully will not. Also, another example, I don't know, maybe I think it was drone. Yeah, I think it was something like Shahed or another drone, and it just oh my God, fall down somewhere in Ukrainian village, and now it looks like some private territory. Maybe nobody is not living there, but I know many examples when people are living there. And there was one famous photo. Unfortunately, I was not able to find it where when I think it was tank on someone's field, like private field where garden where people growing vegetables. Yes, I think it was Sumy region or maybe even Kiev region, Kievska Oblast. And so there was a tank on this field, and you know, beautiful big cabbage. It's funny to talk about, but actually it's quite surrealistic when you can see this photo. You can see this old Russian tank, and you can see this beautiful cabbage grown by ordinary Ukrainian people who just want to continue their life. And it's quite, for me, it's also something like, you know, also, I don't know, resurrection of hope, of resurrection of nature, resurrection of life. So yeah, I like this. I like this stories which give me some hope. What else? Yeah, there is a mass impact on flora and fauna. For example, even just I think it was around months ago. Yeah, months ago. Ecoltava, we posted an information about a very rare badger. We called it. It's one of types of these badgers. We called it hohula in Ukrainian. It's mostly populated in Sumy region, which is very much affected by war. Also, it's under the constant shelling of artillery, and not only. So it's almost it's how to say. Yeah, actually, it's in huge danger. This type of badger in a huge danger, and maybe in a few years, if the situation will be like this, we cannot protect it, and it will be like white rhino, you know, but in Ukrainian environment. So it's very sad because there are territories where animals are very much affected by war, but you cannot do anything. like you cannot say, you cannot send activists, you cannot send international organizations, international projects to protect these animals, because people just can be killed and nobody will not care about it. So we just, I know that many activists, they are just waiting end of war to start all of these works to protect animals. Also, there is one of it's in a bad meaning vibrant example. It's a destruction of Holy Mountains National Park in Donetsk region. We called it Svetohirska Lavra, and there is also natural protection area. So not only religious, by the way, there was also damage, religious, a church actually, monastery, but also natural protection area was quite damaged, and there were very devastating photos from that site, and also red listed spices in a huge danger. Also, one example is from Ascania Nova. It's, for me, it's also, I don't know, because I haven't been in Ascania Nova. I haven't been in this nature protection area, but it's very famous not only in Ukraine but in Europe as well, because we still have very rare animals there, like even zebras, or these horses of Przevalski and others, but they were not only affected with military actions, but actually they are kidnapped from this area now, because they are very rare. They could be I don't know, maybe some hunters, or just Russian zoos want to get this animal, so they just stealing animals from Ascania Nova. So when we will get back these territories and these natural protection areas, we do not know in which condition we will get back it, and will we get some animals after this from these territories or not? We do not know. And it's really very sad, because you cannot do anything with this. You cannot have any influence, at least now, for Russian Federation. And as I told you about dolphins, mass deaths in Black Sea, it's also a big pain for Ukrainian scientists and people from nature protection area. Yeah, and also now the situation is quite better, but last year and in 2022 it was very hard. And I know that Ministry of Environment and Environmental Protection and Natural Resources of Ukraine, they are very concerned about it. And I know that there was some project in plan together with, I think, with German donors or something like this, to protect the dolphins in Ukrainian seas. Yes. And this is, I told you, this is Hohula. It's very cute animal from Sumy region. It has some nice fur, yeah, but unfortunately only a few of them are still alive. Yeah, so using some reports, some official information, my main source, and actually not only mine, but also other international organizations, is numbers from Ministry of Environment and Natural Resources of Ukraine. And they were just prepared quite fresh information. I think the freshest one was in April. I will show you later. So, you see 30% of Ukrainian forests damaged or affected by military actions. 30%. It's a huge number. And even before war, we have had some problems with forests in Ukraine. We have had deforestation before, but now it's really horrible, and we need years to plant these forests, or somehow to restore them, and decades to restore it completely. And this is very important in case of climate change, also in case of in case of adaptation to climate change, because forests are very important to some Ukrainian regions and ecosystems, because we have also steppes where there is no forest, yes, but there is another problem that soils are damaged by missiles and mines, and you know, as steppes, they are how to say, it's like tank for боже, як це сказати?
Українською, я думаю.
Так, для зберігання, ну, просто степи, вони як резервуар для зберігання СО2, викидів СО2. Боже, забула, як це вже кінець дня.
Reservoir.
Yeah,
The
but
preserver.
yeah, it's like nature reservoir for keeping in the soil CO2 emissions. So we have less impact of climate change, yes, and our, especially southern territories, southern regions, they are very much affected by climate change. Not only them, but entire Ukraine. Ukraine is one of the most vulnerable country in Europe to climate change. And really last years we have a lot of extreme weather situation, like I think Pan Roman, you are probably from Lviv, yes? So you can see all of these floods after all of these heavy rains, how it is impacted on Lviv infrastructure. And so it's in the western region, it's mostly heavy rains, and it's affected cities and mountains, but in southern regions it's also extreme heat and a lot of damages to agriculture. And as Ukraine is an agriculture country, and a lot of our crops are exported to other countries who need these crops as a food, yes, it's quite a problem to protect these soils, protect our soils, our agricultural lands, but also protect steppes who keeping inside all of the CO2 emissions. So we will break this cycle of climate change. At least there is still some hope, which our scientists are sharing with us. And I know that I think in 2 months there will be presentation of 3 pilot climate strategies for Ukrainian regions. There will be highlighted somehow also impact of Russian aggression on Ukraine's environment and climate, but it will be not a lead point of these documents. But from these documents, I know that there will be also English version, so you can follow some news, maybe, I don't know, maybe somehow, if you will be interested, you can stay in contact with me and I will share it with you. So in these strategies, there will be some good actions to adaptation, to protecting natural resources of southern regions of Ukraine and western regions of Ukraine. And also some data from UN, but I think they also were taken from Ministry of Environment, Ukrainian Ministry of Environment, like 10,000 hectares of agricultural land have been contaminated with heavy metals and other toxic substances. As I told you, it's really dramatic for us, it's dramatic for Ukraine, it's dramatic for environment, it's dramatic for economy, it's dramatic for countries who cannot get enough food, enough crops, because this land cannot be used for agriculture anymore, at least for years or even for decades. And they need billions of money to be prepared so they can be used again for agriculture. Yeah, some facts, unfortunately, they're in Ukrainian, but I will translate it to you, and maybe I will find, because I haven't found English version. I'm not sure if Ministry prepared it, because this is information from Ministry of Environment. So it's about damage for Ukrainian environment. I think it's the most fresh numbers. So it's around 5,000 facts of damage of Ukrainian environment due to Russian military actions. But this is only situations, facts, which was documented. So people send some information to the ministry because there is an app, it's called Ecozagroza. But some, some damages cannot be still documented because of ongoing military actions on these territories. So it's not a correct, I mean, it's not a final number, unfortunately. And a number of money, a number of damage is 2.4 trillions Ukrainian hryvnia. It's damage for Ukraine's environment. It's a huge amount of money for our ecosystems, and I'm not even sure how it's possible to, where it's possible to get this money. Yeah, for restoration of all of these territories and all of these environmental sites. About forests, as I told you, it's very important for Ukraine to keep and to protect our forests. So 150,000 hectares are occupied, or forests are occupied, or on the territories of ongoing military actions. It's also a huge amount of forest. And also 2.5 million hectares, they are deoccupied, but they need to be restored. And as I told, it's a big money because we need to buy seeds. We need to buy small trees to plant them. We need water. We need machines, equipment to do all of these things, and it's really big money. It's in general damage, environmental damage for Ukrainian forests. It's a scary number, 26.5 billion US dollars. It's a World Bank numbers given us by World Bank. So it's a huge amount. And it's only forests. There are also like soils, for example, also 90 millions 850 square meters contaminated soils, or not only contaminated, but we have a lot of debris, right? Debris after missile attacks, for example, or after military actions, and it's not possible to store them, to recycle this debris. I know that ministries, we have two ministries who are working on this issue, but it's quite big issue. And there are some pilot projects to cope with debris, I think in Irpin and maybe in Hostomel, where municipalities, they got equipment from Japanese government, from JICA, from probably German government, I don't remember clearly now, and they are trying now to separate and to recycle debris, which was produced like 2 years ago, during this occupation of Kiev region. And also 25% of territories of Ukraine needed to be demined. 25%, it's 1/5 or 1/4, even 1/4. Yeah, it's a big amount. I think now we are the most mined country in the world, probably. Yeah, it's very sad because not only environment it's not only damage for environment, but also for people health and unfortunately lives. There are many examples, maybe even hundreds examples when people, for example, farmers, they were working on the field and then just meet with mine and there was an explosion and people just dead, or now they have no legs or hands or something like this. It's very sad. And also children, they also, I have read a lot of news about such situation, and it is very sad and dramatic for people. And total damage for related to soil contamination and waste management issues, military waste, yes, it's 1.07 trillions Ukrainian hryvnias. I'm not sure how many it will be in dollars, but also it's a big number. It's billions. Yeah, billions. Yeah, and also numbers about water pollution and sea damages. So 744 objects of water infrastructure were damaged or completely or partially damaged in Ukraine. It's like all of this bridges, dams, I don't know, different infrastructure, and it's also a big problem for Ukraine. For example, after Kakhovska, the destruction of Kakhovska hydropower station, now a few big cities, they have big problems with water supply, drinking water supply. So Zaporizhia, Kryvyi Rih, I think even Kherson and Mykolaiv, they still have also this problem. So it's not only about environment, but also about access to drinking water. So just, people have no water to use in their daily life, and it's really, not, of course, it's not like there is no water for people. No, government, of course, helping people to have this water at daily basis. But there is no. There are places, there are cities, there are villages without normal water supply. So this access is quite complicated now for many people. Yeah, one moment. Yeah. So actually it's main numbers, I would say, just a moment. Main numbers related to environmental impact of Russian aggression on Ukraine. Numbers are very big. Questions, unfortunately, more than answers, because especially where we will get this money for restoration of our environment, for forestation after this mass deforestation, but especially there is no answer what to do and how to get back our animals from nature protected areas, which were just kidnapped, stealed, yes, from these national parks. And also you cannot come back animals which are already dead, and maybe we already lost some species, So it's really a problem for Ukraine now. Maybe you have some questions you can ask me, because I'm sorry, I feel I'm actually quite tired, because there was a sleepless nights, and last nights were sleepless in my city because of night missile attacks and drone attacks, and you know, you are trying to be strong and to stay strong and in good positive mood, but sleep is very important for us. This is what I can definitely say.